Hey guys, Christopher Bell here. As you guys know, iRacing is coming out with dirt, and it's been a long time coming. So I'm here today to kind of show you around the sprint cars and hopefully give you some insight for whenever you first drive it. So here we are at Williams Grove, gonna go out and make a couple laps in the 410 wing sprint car. I'm on default setup with a gear change to a 522. As we roll out of the pits, you guys might notice that the car wants to pull left and you have to hold the steering wheel right to go straight. That's normal for a sprint car because you have so much stagger, it's always trying to turn the car left. Once you get up to speed, that goes away. Going down the straightaways, Williams Grove has really long straightaways and really tight corners. The big wings on the sprint cars, it always wants to pull you left into the corner, so it doesn't take much steering wheel input to get the car into the corner. A big key for the wing sprint cars is that they always like to go straight. They don't like to be too sideways. So the less steering wheel input you can have and the straighter you can keep the car, the faster you'll go. As the track slickens off, you'll be able to play with the setup to get the car driving even straighter yet. And that's a couple laps around Williams Grove. So here we are at Eldora Speedway. I'm on baseline setup with a gear change to a 511. As we roll out at Eldora Speedway, one thing that you'll notice is that the corners are really sweeping and it's almost a circular shape. The big thing about Eldora is just keeping that steering wheel straight. The straighter you keep the wheel and the less steering input that you give the car, the faster you'll go. The fast line around Eldora will be right around the inside wall in the corners and then with a big arc towards the outside walls down the straightaways. Then once the track slicks off, you'll be able to follow the groove up towards the outside wall, where the famous Eldora High Line comes into play. So now we're at Volusia Speedway Park with the 410 wing sprint car. I'm on baseline setup with a 511 gear, the same as what we ran at Eldora. Whenever you roll out on the racetrack, you'll notice that Volusia is similar to Eldora. They have long sweeping corners, and it's kind of circular in shape. At Volusia, whenever the track is fast, you'll want to be right down against the concrete wall in the corners with a nice big arc down the straightaway. Whenever the track starts to slicken up, you'll be able to follow the groove up higher and higher. Whenever you get into turns 3 and 4 though, the groove might get up onto the shelf, which is the flatter section of the racetrack, and then it becomes very difficult to exit turn 4 without getting into the wall. And that's just one of the characteristics of Volusia Speedway Park. Hope you guys have fun.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead, Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart, slide job, no! Larson unable to complete the pass, he'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinser. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader, Kyle Larson from ninth, leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the Legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now, so I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot, so it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. I mean, you've got thousands of drivers on there that, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there, and you can spend all day long running thousands of laps a day, so you can get yourself really good at it. So competition level is just unbelievable really on there. I mean, everybody's been asking for dirt on there for forever. So when they announced it, I got really, really excited. And honestly, it's blown my expectations away. The cars, to me, drive really good when the track's hooked up. The visual part of the racetrack changing is amazing. How you can run some laps and see it start to get shiny, and then you feel it getting slick. Areas of the racetrack getting dirty, and then you get some cars run through there and it cleans off and gets grip back. It's nuts. The tear-off feature is really cool. Watching the wing move backwards and forwards. I run with the virtual reality headset too, so being able to look down and see everything, it looks extremely realistic. So yeah, it blew my expectations away. And it's only gonna get better, really.
I actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, three wide action on a turn two. Craig Kinser, Casey Kane, and Kieran Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the car. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Set to do battle here at Calistoga as the green flag waves on our main event. Down the front stretch into turn 1, Brad Sweet on the bottom, Rico Abreu on the top, trouble, Jack Hottenshield sideways, spinning to a stop, everyone else avoiding serious contact. Back underway. Abreu leads down the front straightaway. David Gravel takes a peek to the inside, now goes up top at 1 and 2, coming after Brad Sweet for second. Sweet trying to get a run on Abreu down the backstretch. Shane Stewart in third, side by side for fourth, Craig Kinser, and the 7S of Jason Sides. Kinser down low, Sides on the top. Craig Kinser in fifth, and now Sides loses a spot to the Great Clips number 9 of Darren Pittman. Brad Sweet to the inside at 1 and 2, new leader down the back straightaway. The big cat takes it away from Rico Abreu. Abreu right back to the cushion in 3 and 4. Good racing out in front of the field. Brad Sweet and Rico Abreu. Brad Sweet leading lap number 3. Abreu right back to the top in turns 1 and 2. Nearing the halfway point of this World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series main event. Sweet to the inside of the slower cars. Rico Abreu up on the top. Abreu's got a run down the front straightaway. Sweet and Abreu side by side for the lead one more time. The big cat on the cushion. Rico Abreu down low. They reverse their position from earlier in this race. Doesn't work out so well for Abreu. He slides up the racetrack. Brad Sweet pulls away, and once again David Gravel catching up with the number 24. Sweet to the inside of slower cars in 3 and 4, drifts up to the cushion. Abreu was able to rip the cushion all the way around. He's got a run on the leader down the front straightaway. Into turn 1, Rico Abreu going to try the slide job, but not enough room to make it work there. He lost some ground. Entered in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Corey Eliason off the pace on the back straightaway. Looks like he'll bring the 20 car into the infield, or will he? No, he'll come to a stop, and we will go under caution. White flag has waved for the race leader, and Gravel is slow down the front straightaway. Wonder if Gravel may be out of fuel with the number 5. Checkered flag is set to wave, and for the 3rd consecutive Outlaw appearance at Calistoga, Brad Sweet wins night number 1. Rico Abreu just barely holds off Logan Schuhart, with Shane Stewart and Donnie Schatz your top 5. As the big cat Brad Sweet gets set to climb out.
He is out of the car. He's got a checkered flag, and he's going to climb up.
The green flag is waving at Calistoga on the Wine Country Classic. Shane Stewart will lead into turn 1. He dives down low. Brad Sweet jumps up to the cushion. Sweet trying to get a run on him down the back straightaway. Brad Sweet and Shane Stewart side by side. Pittman and Schatz side by side for 3rd as well. They'll stay wheel to wheel through corners 3 and 4. Brad Sweet on the cushion with momentum, and the big cat leads lap number 1. Shane Stewart ducks right back to the inside as they enter the first corner, but the momentum belongs to the big cat Brad Sweet. Darren Pittman and Donnie Schatz trying to go side by side. Caution flag will wave. We've got debris on the speedway in turn 4. Back underway. Brad Sweet brings the field back down the front straightaway. Shane Stewart ducks low into turn 1 to challenge for the top spot. Donnie Schatz jumps up to the cushion, trying to gain some momentum, running third. Darren Pittman fourth, Jason Johnson now fifth, and David Gravel sixth as they enter turn 3. Sweet on the cushion, Stewart on the cushion. Sweet tries to turn it to the inside of the slower cars. Nice move by the big cat. Can he get by Willie Croft into turn 1? He drifts up the racetrack. Stewart down low, pulls even. Battle for the lead down the back straightaway. Brad Sweet and Shane Stewart going at it. Slower car, Paul McMahon right in front of him. Sweet ducks to the inside of McMahon. Slides up in front. Stewart works the cushion all the way through the corner, trying to keep the momentum on his side. Into turn 1, Stewart dives to the bottom, pulls even. Can he make the pass? No, cannot take the lead. Donnie Schatz still in third, Darren Pittman in fourth, and Jason Johnson in fifth. Just past the wall, trouble, car up high in turn number 4, and we'll see the caution flag wave. Jason Johnson trying to get a run on Schatz. Schatz closing again on Brad Sweet. We've got a 3-car battle for the lead in the final 6 laps here at the Calistoga Speedway. Sweet shots on Johnson, top 3, nose to tail into turn 1, shots to the inside. Can he make the move? No, and now Johnson's gonna try to go around the outside, but Schatz fends off that charge. Into turn 3, Sweet to the inside of slower traffic. Johnson around the outside, and Donnie Schatz, the Raging Cajun, looking for second in traffic down the front straightaway. Brad Sweet right there, Schatz to the inside of Sweet, slide job, new leader Donnie Schatz. Schatz takes the lead down the back straightaway. Brad Sweet and Jason Johnson side by side for third. Sweet with the slider to take it. Johnson tucks down low out of turn 2. Donnie Schatz into 3 and 4 for the final time. 5 times a winner in wine country. Donnie Schatz gets it done tonight at Calistoga. Climbing up top, your 2017 Wine Country Classic winner, Donnie Schatz. iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaws.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, race fans, wherever you're making Race Spot TV part of your day. We appreciate it. We're going to be bringing you the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series live from USA International Speedways. Myself, Cam Walsh, Randy Jenrith, Hugo Louis on the broadcast, of course, here at USA. Layered with dirt, it's going to put on a good show. 3/4 mile, of course, 4 turns, more of a paperclip than anything else. And it is going to be a good one. Qualifying underway as it stands. Austin Semmelman, Robbie Starnes, and Dylan Semmelman 1, 2, 3. But we've got half of the field to qualify here. And, well, we'll see what we can do. Track right now, well, it's not as worn as we're used to here. All last season we were running on really worn surfaces. And now, well, here at USA, it's not really that worn out. We're going to be able to see a lot of high speeds, a lot of real pushing and running all up against that high side. That's what most of these cars are doing now. And Randy will bring you in here. It's USA International Speedway. It's I'd almost say it's featureless, but it's really just typically a very good speedway here. Long straights, wide corners, and people typically run the top.
I definitely wouldn't say it's featureless, Cam, as you know, it is the longest track that we have, and I think it is the fastest, just with the way the corners are actually profiled, the way that with the length of the straightaways. I believe this is the fastest track we have. Maybe second to Eldora, but this one I think overall a little bit more difficult. We have Tim Ryan out on a lap right now. Still a couple of drivers who need to put down some qualifying times. Alex Bergeron in the 2s. The other one is Tim Ryan's going to finish his first hot lap right now. That's going to be an 18.853. That puts him P2 on the timing sheets, a hundredths of a second off Austin Semmelman.
Yeah, and we've got Tim Ryan. He's got his time in. When will Alex Bergeron put his time in? His vehicle is out on track. Tim Ryan, that number 3 machine, he was fastest in practice.
and we'll see what he can do here. He'll put himself top of the charts, 18.839, and Randy Alex Bergeron now. He's going to be putting out his qualifying laps. His first time should be coming in a couple of seconds.
Down the back straightaway here on his first lap for Alex Bergeron, sliding up around the top of the racetrack. So it seems people like this high line right now here in qualifying down the front straightaway. And what's he going to do here? It's going to be 18.930. That's going to be fourth quickest. Where we saw Tim Ryan on his last lap for his last outing. He went quickest after his second lap down the back straightaway again for the number 2 of Alex Bergeron through number 3 and 4, again favoring this high line, trying to get a good run, running the cushion up along the top down the front straightaway. And for Bergeron, he is not going to improve. He will stay P4 as we now have our starting grid.
Now that we do, and as the qualifying time has sorted itself out, cars are going to be pulling themselves out into the pits behind the pacing truck. We're going to take a look at the starting grid here at USA International Speedway for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series. It is going to be Tim Ryan, the number 3 machine. He is qualified first with an 18.839. Austin Sebelman will be his outside. Will he get the whole shot? Perhaps, perhaps not. Tim Ryan, though, obviously going to be the one dropping at the green. Robbie Starnes, he'll start in 3rd. Alex A. Bergeron in that 4th position. Lewis Hewitt will start in 5th. Bradley Kiosh will start in the 6th position. Dylan Sebelman will be starting in 7th. Keith Starnes in 8th. Kevin J. Holly in 9th. Cameron Hola in 10th position. Dylan Wagner, he'll start 11th. Steven Renaud in 12th. Chase Briscoe in 13th. And Drew Neal in 14th position. 14 machines here, 410 wing sprint cars, of course, here lined up at USA International. Randy, I'm almost wondering if that outside line, if they are able to hold it there, they have an opportunity to really pull themselves forward as long as they get a good start.
It is really interesting to see the fact that people were favoring the top side of the racetrack. I've not yet seen that here on iRacing in the 410 sprint cars around USA, unless the track is really worn in. But we have moderate usage here today, so this track surface really not that worn in starting out. And normally when this is the situation, we see people down along the bottom, basically even clipping that grass. So the top side is seemingly being a little bit favored. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to turn over this first lap. Turns 1 and 2, I think, could be a really interesting place when you have the likes of Tim Ryan and your 4th place qualifier of Alex Bergeron fighting side by side with Tim Ryan and Starnes fighting with Sebelman and Bergeron into 1 and 2.
Yeah, and of course our last week's winner, Christopher Bell, not here in attendance, but Steven Renaud, who finished in 2nd, is. However, he's starting back in the 12th position. If I recall, Steven Renaud, he qualified fairly high up there, and he wasn't able to come home with a victory. He came home in 2nd position, and we'll see what he can do here, though. A lot of work heading out in front of him as base truck pulling away here at USA International Speedway. You can really see that inside line as sort of that's the spot where it's really kind of all worn in. That outside, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see them at least starting out there. But you got to wonder who's going to risk it to go to the inside. I think we normally see them arch their way across the corner and nip the inner apex before pulling out. Normally what we would see perhaps in a stock car. But obviously, it's a completely different ball game when you're talking about dirt cars and a moving track that we have here on iRacing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There is a little bit of grip down along the early parts of the corner because, as you said, you typically want to get down there relatively early here with you apex, and there is a bit of a grippy strip down right up against the wall. In turns 1 and 2, it extends pretty far from about corner entry to mid corner. For 3 and 4, the entire line is a little bit more narrow, but it extends throughout 3 and 4 to the exit. So I think there could be some grip down there. I think over the first 5 to 10 laps, the top side's probably going to dominate, but once that top line gets worn in, once that cushion slickens up, I think we'll see people move to the bottom over the last 10 to 15 laps of this race.
Yeah, 25 laps on the docket, and the amount of distance between that safety truck and the first position driver of Tim Ryan, you could basically fill the entire grid between the two. And I think that means that Tim Ryan, he's done this once or twice here at USA, knows the pace truck's going to pull into pit lane, and he wants to give himself the biggest window possible. I mean, he is leagues away from that pace truck. Pace truck going in. Tim Ryan, now he's holding himself up to the front. He gets nipped in the rear by Robbie Starnes, and here on Raceback TV, iRacing Live, and DirtVision.com, we are green here at USA International Speedway going into corners number 1 and 2. Tim Ryan, he got a little bit of a nip in the bud there, and now he is pulling away here in the backstretch.
stacking up in the back of the field. And I have to say, that was not a very classy start by Tim Ryan. We saw him 3 different times blip the throttle and then get off of it, trying to get off and Silverman to get a black flag. I think for Tim Ryan, maybe trying to make up for maybe a lack of talent here through 1 and 2, as Austin Silverman all over the back of him, despite the games Ryan played on the start.
Yeah, I gotta say, perhaps not the best thing that we want to see. Alex Bergeron, he's the first to dip all the way down to the inside, almost slicing into Robbie Starnes, but nothing's there for Alex Bergeron. He's gonna stay in that 4th position. Actually, that's allowed Bradley Cash to catch right on up. Everybody staying to the high side, minus Chase Briscoe, who is way to the inside with Kevin J. Holly. They're well in the back, though. Tim Ryan, he's holding that outside line right now. Austin Selwyn, I gotta say, he is blowing as close as you can to that concrete wall, but I don't know how many laps we're going to be able to get this. This track is going to be taking a beating with every single car on that outside cushion.
Yeah, everyone up along the top. We've seen a couple drivers try the bottom, and it hasn't worked just yet. Tim Ryan's been able to stretch a bit of a gap over the number 1 of Austin Selman as they work through 3 and 4. Yet again, coming to lap number 5 here down the front straightaway. We had Alex Berger on all sorts of sideways off of 4, and Bradley Cash close to the rear of that number 2 machine, but not close enough to make a move. Down the back straightaway they come again, and still single file up and down the field. That top groove favored by basically everyone, and everyone right up against that wall. Very slim margins here to potentially make a mistake. It's the closest fight right now between P5 and P6 is Lewis Hewitt and Bradley Cash. They're going to fight nose to tail through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Chase Briscoe, he's trying to hunt that inside line, but it just doesn't seem to be working out. His corner exit is really off. He manages to clip the grass a little bit as he tries to work that inside line. Doesn't seem to be working. I see Steven Renaud also in there. Bradley Cash has a bad exit coming off of corner number 4, so he'll dive onto the inside line. Lewis Hewitt, he's all the way on the outside. Let's see, here we go. It's a direct battle between the inside line and the outside line. The inside line actually has it, so Bradley Cash was able to have it, but he wants to comfortably get up top, though he gets a nice little tap from that 666 of Lewis Hewitt as they are pulling themselves away. Chase Briscoe is actually now allowed to bring himself onto the rear of Bradley Cash, and Randy, it seems that inside line coming in.
I don't think it's the inside line coming in as much as it is the top side going away, as the 8 of Briscoe again goes to the bottom in 3 and 4. He's picked up 2 spots early, and he's found the grip when you want to, and he's moved himself up into that top 5. So we know that bottom groove of the racetrack can work if Semmelman can get there to the back of Tim Ryan. But we're coming up on 15 laps to go, and the field's still relatively stretched out here. So the chance of a caution may be somewhat slim here, as we got Bergeron up along the top, handful of other drivers. We got Robbie Starnes on the bottom, Chase Briscoe and Bradley Cash, and everyone moving down for the most part to that inside groove. Still a handful of guys up along the top side though.
Yeah, you can really see how the track has taken a beating with all 14 machines that we have here, mostly dedicated to the inside. Here comes Austin Semmelman. He's on the inside. Robbie Starnes the inside. Chase Briscoe the inside line, just like that. In 1 lap, everybody's now leaning onto the inside. They're staying to the outside in 1 and 2. I think they're going to the inside through 3 and 4, and perhaps we will see as they cross the start-finish line what that is going to do to lap times. Yeah, here he goes. Austin Semmelman, he seems to be able to reel in Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan having struggles to get under the power here as he goes across the start-finish line. Tim Ryan, 19.7. Austin Selwyn, a 19.4.
So 3/10 there for Austin Selwyn. So the grip is down along the bottom right now. Let's see if Tim Ryan notices as they work through 3 and 4. And again, Selwyn goes along the bottom. He liked the top side through 1 and 2. Top side might be the place to be on that end of the racetrack, but the bottom seems favored right now. He reels in that number 3 machine again of Tim Ryan. Again, both drivers go along the top, and you can see that the grip along the top side of 1 and 2 has just gotten so narrow. There's only about a right rear tire's width that can actually work. And Selwyn's going to go to the bottom, and they're side by side for a moment. And actually, that one machine gets a huge run off the bottom of the racetrack. Ryan clips the wall, gets a little bit loose. Austin Selwyn picks up the point, finds the grip early, but he goes through the slick stuff through 1 and 2. The 3 of Tim Ryan is going to fight back. The 8 of Chase Briscoe is there well, almost 3 wide. The 3 of Ryan, ERT driver, picks the lead back up through 3 and 4. Slick stuff again in the middle for Selwyn. He drops to 3rd.
And we're going to have 10 laps to go next time by Chase Briscoe. He has come out of seemingly nowhere, and so has Alex A. Bergeron. His last lap was a 19.1, which was got to be at least half of a second faster than everyone else on this racetrack. And there goes Alex A. Bergeron. Where has he found this speed? Perhaps he made a wing adjustment on his machine, and he is comfortably running the downside. But Tim Ryan now, he is going to be in all sorts of trouble. You've got Chase Briscoe on the way, Alex A. Bergeron on the way, Austin Selwyn.
Oh, they got caught contact. Chase Briscoe, Tim Ryan slowed way down through 1 and 2. I think he clipped the slick stuff. I don't think his car's set up to run around the bottom. There's a slight contact between the 8 of Briscoe as well as Tim Ryan, and that's going to move Briscoe up to your race lead. Alex Bergeron goes to second. Tim Ryan, he's led this race all the way up until this point, but now as we move to the bottom of the racetrack, he is really struggling. Austin Silverman now, he'll get a chance to fight with the number 3 ERT driver through 3 and 4. You still see Ryan trying to stick to the top side as Briscoe gets moved out of the way. Bergeron moved to the point here. We've had 3 lead changes in about 5 laps.
Absolutely fantastic racing here at USA International Speedway. Chase Briscoe washes out on the top side. That allows Alex Bergeron at least a little bit of a hair's breadth, but no, actually Briscoe with that 410 pulling out all sorts of power, pulls alongside, but yeah, he will end up into the wall there. He'll recover. I don't think he broke anything on the suspension, but everybody's closed up now. Here comes Semmelman onto the inside. Here comes Steven Renaud. He had started. Wind will be in 12th position, and he's making contact with Austin Semmelman as the laps are ticking away here. We're going to have 5 to go. Next time by, and Alexei Bergeron, he is hoping that these guys fight because he's got a gap, and he really wants to keep that here. He wants a good night here at USA.
6 laps to go here at USA International Speedway. Chase Briscoe's up on his lid, up on the wall. Austin Selman gets into him. That's going to bring out the first caution of the evening. We will get a restart, but I was just about to say, who says you can't race on a slick racetrack? A lot of lead changes here with this surface tonight at USA International Speedway. Alex Bergeron from 4th on the grid up to your lead. You had Chase Briscoe, who started 13th of 14 cars. He led some laps, and a lot of guys who started up front really struggling here on these new track conditions, Cam.
Yeah, you know what? When we started this race, that outside line was, I would call it mint. Now, not so much. It's basically worn in. There's a massive bump going into corner number 3, and I think that's what offset Briscoe's suspension just enough. But either way, he ended up entering the corner, perhaps a little bit too much speed, found himself in that wall, and that brings out our first caution. Normally we get this caution out of the way early on, but nope, not here, as we're on lap number 22. The lights still on, but yeah, completely different field basically up front, minus Tim Ryan. Everyone else has been shuffled around. You've got Alex Bergeron up there leading. You've got what will be Steven Renaud. Randy, I gotta say, going from 12th to 4th position, all green, all through the track conditions, I mean, that is absolutely fantastic.
That was great racing there from everyone, and like you said, pace light's still on that racetrack, so we should be going green this next time by. That'll give us a 2-lap shootout. And like you said, you know, there's a couple drivers that start up front still up here. Tim Ryan, he's starting on the outside of that front row. Austin Silverman, he's starting on the outside of that second row. And Tim Ryan, someone we saw really struggling here on these conditions. He liked the top side of the racetrack. It seemed to see this car is really stuck up there. He can't make that inside groove work the same way. Silverman, though, he felt right at home. Steve Renaud, he's of course driven his way up through this field here, so he might be someone to contend with as well here in the last couple laps. As the lights on the truck go out, they will be side by side this time, green with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, an absolute shootout in the purest of sense. We'll have just enough time to allow these guys to really rack them and stack them. Hopefully they don't bring out another caution. We would not like to see that. I'd like to see Alex Bergeron. Where will he start? Of course, we saw that malarkey, I would have to say, in the beginning. These cars, they are a little bit further off the pace truck, but it's nothing like it was at the beginning of the race. Not trying to insinuate anything here, but I will say I would expect Alexei Bergeron, at the moment that the pace truck pulls off, for him to go. That he does. He gets the jump. Steven Renaud tried to also in the back of there. Somebody going into the inside wall. Yes.
He's upside down. We're going to stay green for the moment, though. They're going to be the top 3, all down to the inside through 1 and 2. Austin Silverman moves himself up into 3rd, through 3 and 4 now for the penultimate time. Silverman working the back of Tim Ryan. Ryan still struggling on the bottom. Bergeron struggles to get grip off the bottom as well, but gets a good run. White flag.
Yeah, and Alex Bergeron, he had the jump, he had it, and Tim Ryan now is fighting mostly with Austin Semmelman, and here comes Bradley Cash. Will he go the outside 3 wide, going into corner number 3 on the white flag here at USA International Speedway. It will be Alexei Bergeron in that number 2 car coming away with a victory. Who's going to take 2nd position? It is going to go to Austin Semmelman. He will start in 2nd and finish in 2nd, but my goodness, everybody there just gapped by mere tenths. And for Bradley Cash and Tim Ryan, I mean, that was absolutely fantastic racing. And Steve Renaud, again, 12th to 5th, Randy, that is something fierce. I am shocked, however, that the caution did not come out. We had probably 3 or 4 cars ended up getting involved in a wreck, but they kept it green, and that is obviously what we would like to see.
Yeah, that was one of the best races we've had since we've gotten this dirt content. The way this track came in was, I've never seen a track come in like this. This reminded me a lot of what I see in the real world when I head up to Paris Motor Speedway, a little couple hours north of me, just east of Los Angeles. That's what a slick racetrack looks like on Saturday night shootout when these World of Outlaws go racing. And hopefully we can get a lot more of that through the rest of this season. Should really spice up the action. Good to see people moving around and struggling on different grooves of the racetrack.
Yeah, and we watched the incident there on RaceSpot TV replay, but the race is now completed. 9 minutes, 37 seconds. We are going to take a look at the official results here at USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida. And, of course, I'd have to say, a fantastic race for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series. Alex A. Bergeron, he'll start 4th, he'll finish 1st. Austin Semmelman will come home in 2nd position. Bradley Cash in a drag race with Tim Ryan come home in 3rd. Tim Ryan, of course, finishing in 4th. Steven Renaud, he'll come home in the 5th position. Lewis Hewitt, he'll come home 6th. Dylan Wagner in 7th. Drew Neal from 14th to 8th. Not a bad night at all. Keith Starnes, he'll finish in the 9th position. Dylan Semmelman will finish 10th. Kevin J. Holly 11th. Cameron Holla in at 12th. Robbie Starnes in 13th. And Chase Briscoe will finish in 14th. Now, Randy, I gotta say, watching this track develop and change, it was certainly exciting. We started with basically the entire upper groove untouched, and looking at this track now, I mean, it is a fairly worn track, and that's exactly what we like to see here at the iRacing surface.
Yeah, you watch those last, that last half of the race. You're absolutely right. That top groove, I wouldn't say that it was untouched, but it was pretty prime. But you watch the last handful of laps, and it's just a slick line all the way from the bottom of the corners all the way up to the top. So there's really not a quote unquote fast line in terms of the grip the track's gonna actually be giving you. Everywhere it was just super slick, super good to see, and that's what really spiced up the action today. Really good to see the drivers have to work like that. A lot of times these guys get their setups so dialed in that in the past builds they wouldn't really have to move around much. Tonight this was completely different, and I think that's why we saw, for example, that number 3 of Tim Ryan really struggle. He had the top side absolutely just figured out, and then once that went away he just struggled, and the fact that he was able to hold on for that 4th place finish was pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the race winner, Alex A. Bergeron, in the RaceSpot TV booth. Alex, well, 9 minutes and 37 seconds, but my goodness, so much happens over the course of this race. The outside seemed to be the flavor of the day, but at some point there was a turning point. You made that inside line work. Take me through your race here at USA International.
Yeah, we started on the outside. At a decent qualifying, I messed up the top side in qualifying, but we started in 4. We had the top side and coming to the first quarter of the race, and then I saw some guys just running the bottom, and then I thought I will try the bottom because it seems pretty fast, and I saw Chase Briscoe from the back of the field and from the bottom, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on the bottom. Then it works out, and we had pretty good racing with my teammate, and Tim Ryan and all these guys was pretty awesome, I can tell.
Yeah, and once you got that inside line dialed in, I mean, you were running at some point almost half of a second faster than the cars in front of you, and they weren't even fighting for position. What's it like to be fighting for position? Of course, this is probably the longest circuit, the widest, I would imagine, the most traditional you would see, of course, this being an asphalt track that has been inlaid with the dirt. But it seemed that once we were able to catch up to people, the racing just sort of happened and happened quick. You're able to be very decisive through the actual track itself. I mean, I gotta say, it always puts on a good show here, but just trying to make the passes on people, I have to say, probably it looks a lot more difficult, or it probably is a lot more difficult than it looks.
Oh yeah, sure. It was pretty tough, but on the bottom, just throttle control and find a good grip on the bottom. It's like you needed to be very, very on the bottom there, and each corners, and man, it was pretty tough, but I can tell it was an awesome race. And when I was able to catch these guys up front, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep the momentum up going and trying to find a place. But when I saw the caution, I was like, okay, then I thought I was gonna have the race pretty easy with getting up front. I think I have a pretty good advantage, but when the caution came out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to do something for the 2-lap shootout, and we did. So I'm pretty stoked of tonight, and the bottom was so awesome. I never saw a track like this on iRacing since the dirt came out. The bottom like this, when the top comes out first couple of laps, and then the bottom, I never saw that. So it was something pretty new for me. So I think for a lot of guys in the field tonight. So pretty awesome tonight, and I'm pretty proud of the position I finished tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, taking the victory. Next week we're going to Lanier. That's going to be a brand spanking new circuit for us in the 410 Wing Sprint Car. We hope to see you there. Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Oh yeah, sure. Like, thanks everyone at Team VLR and my teammate Austin. Did a pretty good job tonight. 1-2 finished tonight. Pretty awesome night, and all my sponsors and you guys for broadcasting. It's always awesome to have you guys getting these races broadcast. It's always some pretty good racing, and can't wait for Lanier next week.
All right. Your race winner, Alex A. Bergeron, coming into the booth with us. Thank you so very much for joining us, and we hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
So your World of Outlaws winner here at USA International Speedway, who has finished in second, however, was the #1 car of Austin Silverman. He is standing by with Randy.
Yeah, I'm stood by with that #1 machine of Austin Silverman. Finished P2 tonight, which is unusual to see Silverman finishing that far down the field. But Austin, we saw a very different racetrack form tonight from what we're used to seeing. We saw that top groove start out really clean, really quick. But after about the first 10 laps, that just went away, and that bottom became the favored groove. How was that trying to get used to for you in that one machine?
Oh, it was completely probably the most different racetrack we've had so far. It was a lot of fun, I tell you that. That was probably the most intense race I've ever been in. Wow. I knew the bottom would come in. I knew it would because I could see that strip out of turn 4, and I actually went down there in 3 and 4 and was running down Tim, but them guys kind of came out of nowhere behind me.
Now, speaking of Tim, that number 3 ERT machine, he was hooked up along the top. I think he had that pretty much perfect and was running away from you. He had the top really figured out, but it seemed to be once that 10 lap or so window went away, he was really struggling to find speed down on the bottom, and he was still trying to make the top work, and it just simply wasn't. What do you think for these guys that are watching that might do these races throughout the week? What in the setup could they play with to really help with this car, the race ability to be able to switch lines for when the racetrack does what it did tonight?
Simply put, tighten it up if you want to run the top, loosen it up a little bit if you want to run the bottom. Make sure you get the wing back to get off the bottom, though. Valuable points right there. But I knew the bottom was coming in, and I don't run a mirror or anything, and I run the Oculus, so it's as realistic as it gets. I had no idea them guys were behind us. I kind of thought it was just me and Tim, but they came out of nowhere and surprised me.
Yeah, those guys found the bottom a little bit earlier than you did, like the Chase Briscoe and those guys running P4, P5 in the mid-pack, and they reeled in a lot of time to you guys. And for you, next week, we're going out to Lanier. First time we're going to see these winged 410 sprint cars on that dirt track on the iRacing service. Have you done any laps? What track would you compare that to of the 4 we have the other 4 we have?
Well, I have run laps. I ran a couple laps there. I actually ran the Team VLR league race there a couple weeks ago. So it was a lot of fun. If I had to compare, I think it may be just a smaller Volusia, maybe, but it's really not comparable 100% to any of them. Really, it's kind of a track on its own. I think it's going to be really exciting.
Well, that's good to hear, Austin. Congratulations again on P2. Before we let you go, any shout-outs? Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, of course. Team VLR, of course, my guys. Alex winning the race. What a great job he did, and getting us 1-2 there. But my team, iRaps, for making my car look cool. We had the B-Dubs car tonight, so man, it was a good race, and thanks to you guys again for doing this.
No problem, Austin. Cam, back over to you.
Yeah, and I mean, what else is there to say? This racetrack seems to be putting on a good show near every single time we come here. Unlike some circuits, mostly started with the letter V, we always seem to have a good time here. We are going to Lanier. That's going to be a new adventure, and we hope that you will join us then. But Hugo, I think that is going to wrap it up for the USA International Speedway round of the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series here on iRacing Live, RaceSpot TV, and of course, DirtVision.com. I've been Cameron Walsh. That's been Randy Chenoweth. That has been Hugo Louis, our graphics package, of course, and we're in design, ARTVO. And of course, you can find out all the relevant info that you would like on racespot.tv. We hope that you continue to follow along on the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car adventures we go on. Congratulations to Alex Bergeron, who came away with a victory here at UNSA International Speedway. Absolutely fantastic race, and we hope for some more of it. We'll see you at Lanier in 1 week's time. So long.